You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burke Godwin. I'm very much looking forward to speaking to our next guest because I've been reading her book right here. She is the founder of System Dynamics for Individuals and Organizations and the author of this book, Decoding Your Emotional Blueprint, a powerful guide to transformation through disentangling multi-generational patterns. I think we all need this. Welcome to America Trends, Judy Wilkins-Smith.
Hi, Mary. It's lovely to be with you.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you. You know, it's interesting because I believe our culture has become very much obsessed with finding out about our ancestry. And before meeting with you and reading this book, I thought it was all about physical things. You know, are we going to get breast cancer? What are the physical traits that might have been passed down? And everyone's doing 23andMe and Ancestry.com.
Right.
But now, you know, this is taking it to another level of kind of finding the emotional blueprint, and the patterns and the social behaviors that we have can be traced to our ancestry. Am I on target here?
You are.
Two thumbs up. I love it.
Yes. You don't just inherit your physical DNA, you also inherit your emotional DNA. So that's your patterns of thoughts, feelings, and actions. So if you have a particular pattern of depression in the family, that can run through to you. If you have a fear around money, you want to know, where did that start? What was the precipitating event? How did it affect the family? How is it affecting me? Because those patterns, it turns out, have dual purposes. One is that you can repeat it and it just echoes through the family. The other is that it's yours to change. And when you change that, the epigenetic impact is strong enough that it's also going to affect other aspects, including sometimes the physical.
So talk to me about, you know, how you first, I learned this term through your book, is systemic constellation work. Can you talk to me about what that means and what the work entails?
Okay, so systemic work is the study of you within your whole system. You didn't just get to be Mary, you arrived on planet Earth and they went, bang, that's you. You came through a whole family system, so you inherited all of those patterns, and we want to see what ones are serving you and what ones are asking you to be the change agent for them. And that's pretty powerful. And then constellation work is a very breakthrough approach to exploring your issues. So let's suppose you brought a money issue to me and I said to you, well, when did it start for you? What was happening in your life at the time? Does anybody in your family have a similar pattern? And you say, well, maybe mom or dad, not sure. So what we might do at a live event, for example, is you would pick a representative for mom, for dad, for you, for money. And then I would say to you, place them in relationship to one another, the way that it feels for you. And that gives you a picture. It takes it out of here and it puts it in front of you. So now what you're doing is you're exploring your issue in 3D and in multiple generations. And you're using senses like hearing, tasting, seeing, touching. You're walking through it. So you're literally navigating it in 3D. And that gives you the ability to listen to what you're saying and thinking, and then start to reframe that, which of course then brings in the neuroplasticity.
Well, you know, you mentioned money, and I did learn the term from you in this book, I believe, is the money DNA, and how, you know, I feel like people have interesting relationships to money, finances, fear around it, overspending, frugality, whatever it may be. And it's interesting to think that it's tied to potentially certain things that happened in our childhood and or the experiences of our parents that we don't even know about. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. You don't. So what happens is great-grandfather loses all of the money that he'd made in the Great Depression, or he gambles it. Let's say he gambles it. So great-grandfather gambles it, and we don't talk about great-grandfather. Well, grandfather comes along, and he's really, really risk-averse. And then we have dad who comes along who's risk-averse but curious. And suddenly you come along and you go, you know what, I really think I could do well with money, but I remember everything that's been said. Be careful, don't put all your eggs in one basket. A fool and his money are soon parted. All of those little things that are in your ears. And so you inherit that, which is an obstacle to you moving forward. So it takes what we call a bigger adventure. When you get more excited by the idea that you could actually do something with money that's different in your family, or you could have a really good relationship with money, because by the way, it's not a commodity, it's a relationship, things start to shift for you. And as soon as you begin rewiring your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you're also doing that for the generations who come after you. So it's really kind of passing down a very mindful inheritance.
I love that concept. And, you know, the rewiring, that word is really sticking out to me. And I know alcoholism was big in my family, and I've, you know, been over 7 years now without a drink, and, you know, kind of changing that history in my family that I know has been there as I was learning and researching and going through my family. Of like, oh wow, it's been in generations and probably deeper than I even know. And it can be to any behavior, like you were saying, depression, overspending, gambling. So what are people, so people can find you at judywilkins-smith.com. Can they do you work with clients over Zoom as well as in person?
So I do a couple of things. I work with them over Zoom. I work with executive clients. I work with private clients. I also offer live events. A lot of people come because they have an issue that they want to see shift and resolve. And what this does is it does it pretty quickly. It's one new thought, one new feeling, one new action. And then what you would have done, like in your family, is to keep repeating the healthy pattern. What I would say to you, though, is go on a bit of a treasure hunt. Because often alcoholism or alcohol, anything to do with alcohol, we find in this work can be dying to a truth we could not look at. And so you want to go back and see, was there a precipitating event in your family system that began that whole trigger that would then wound down all the way through to you?
Yeah, and how do we do that research? You know, there's not an ancestry in me for that sort of thing.
There isn't. What you do is you would look in your genealogy to see where in the world do I come from? What are the geographic deciders? Were there big events?
Right.
What were those big events, and would they potentially have created this? So if you look at the Great Dutch Hunger Winter, or 9/11 is a better one. With 9/11, they actually followed women who'd been pregnant with children at the time. And the women have got elevated PTSD markers.
That makes a lot of sense.
Children.
Well, Judy,
children.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I know you're a busy woman. You've got to get to your clients, so I appreciate you stopping by to chat with us. JudyWilkins-Smith.com is her website, and at Judy Wilkins-Smith on social media. And Decoding Your Emotional Blueprint. Get her book and find out about the habits you can change. And thank you for tuning in to America Trends. We'll see you tomorrow night.